We're going to focus on a single day, January 19th, 2026. Now, why this date? Well, it's not just another day on the calendar. It's a perfect snapshot of a world where the very foundations of power, risk, and control are being rewritten by artificial intelligence. And this number is really at the center of it all. $4 trillion. As of this morning, that's the market value of one company, Alphabet. It's a sign of economic concentration on a scale we've just never seen before, and it's all being fueled by the race to dominate AI. So to really get a handle on this new reality, we're going to look at 4 key things happening today. The incredible financial power of the AI economy, the global leaders trying to figure it all out, the very real vulnerabilities this new tech is creating, and finally, the worldwide scramble to write the new rules. All right, first up, the $4 trillion club. Let's start with the money, because the real engine of this change isn't a government or an ideology. It's a small group of companies whose value is so huge it's actually changing the global economy. So today's the day Alphabet officially joins this very exclusive club. It's only the 4th company in history to hit that $4 trillion mark. Its stock shot up 65% in 2025 thanks to a huge AI turnaround and a newly revealed deal for its Gemini AI to power Apple's Siri. Now, this is more than just a stock market headline. It's a major shift in the entire mobile intelligence world. All of that $4 trillion, all that value, it rests on something physical, silicon. The entire AI boom is built on hardware, and right now, NVIDIA is the undisputed king. It's really no surprise that Wolf Research just named it their top AI pick for 2026. Its chips are literally the bedrock of this revolution. And the pace is just getting faster. NVIDIA's next generation of chips, called the Vera Rubin architecture, is expected to cut the cost of actually using AI models, what's called inference, by 90%. A cost reduction like that is a massive catalyst. It makes powerful AI cheaper and easier for everyone to use, pushing it into every single corner of our economy. Okay, so that's what's happening in the markets. Now let's see how the world is responding. We're shifting from Silicon Valley to the mountains of Switzerland, where global leaders are meeting to try and get their arms around the consequences of all this. And this is really the central question hanging over the World Economic Forum's annual meeting in Davos. You have a handful of companies gaining so much power and wealth, so now world leaders are trying to figure out what role they have in shaping what happens next. The scale of this meeting is just historic. We're talking about nearly 3,000 leaders, including a record number of heads of state and top CEOs. The official theme is a spirit of dialogue, which really tells you there's an urgent feeling that they need to find some common ground in a world that's changing incredibly fast. And you can see that urgency right on the official agenda. Sure, you've got the standard topics like economic growth and cooperation, but that line, deploying innovation responsibly, that puts the challenge of AI governance right at the heart of the global conversation. This quote from the forum's president, Berge Brende, just captures the mood perfectly. The feeling in Davos is that the window to actually steer this technology is closing, and having these conversations isn't optional anymore.
But here's the thing. While all those leaders are talking strategy in Davos, the very systems they're discussing are already showing signs of serious strain. On this exact same day, a major lawsuit has just exposed a huge vulnerability in the trust we put in our digital world.
So on January 19th, Epic Systems, they're one of the biggest providers of electronic health records, filed a lawsuit that gets to the very heart of data privacy. It alleges that the networks built to let doctors share patient info are being systematically exploited. This shows you the gap between the promise and the reality. The system is supposed to let your doctor securely access your medical history to treat you. But the lawsuit claims that some companies are getting into this network not to help patients, but to find people with certain medical conditions, and then sell their data to law firms for big lawsuits. The lawsuit even has a name for this tactic, a Hydra scheme. You know, like the mythical monster? When one shady company gets caught and cut off, the same people allegedly just create a new shell company to keep pulling the same data. It's a system designed specifically to avoid getting caught. And this loss of trust isn't just happening in healthcare. Today, researchers also revealed a batch of 5 malicious Chrome extensions. They were disguised as helpful tools, but they were actually designed to break into corporate systems like Workday and NetSuite.
The attack technique is called session hijacking. Basically, instead of stealing your password, it steals the temporary digital key that proves to your browser you're already logged in. This lets an attacker completely bypass passwords and even multi-factor authentication, giving them a direct line into sensitive corporate data.
So you've got these growing risks, from misused data to really sophisticated cyber attacks, and it's all leading to one inevitable response: a global scramble to write new rules for this digital age. You can see this wave of new laws building all over the world. Just this year, Vietnam's new data law goes into effect, New York has a new law on AI and advertising, and the EU is getting serious about enforcing its big AI Act. At the same time, you have a whole bunch of US states creating their own new consumer rights. But here's the key. There's no single global agreement on how to do this. The EU is going for a very comprehensive, rights-based approach. The US is creating this patchwork of state laws with no big federal law in sight, and China is focusing on strictly enforcing its own powerful data security laws. It's creating a really complex and fragmented map for any company that operates globally. So when you step back and look at everything that happened on just this one day, a very clear picture starts to form. The financial power is getting concentrated in just a few AI-first companies. The risks are getting more sophisticated, and governments all over the world are racing to regulate a technology that is already a huge part of our lives. And this brings us to what might be the fundamental question of our time. The ability to create and use intelligence at a massive scale has become its own form of sovereign power. It's reshaping our economies, our geopolitics, and the question we're all left with is, who gets to write the Constitution for this new territory?